What's good, everybody? Welcome back to The Early Edge, your daily sports betting brand of record. We are powered, as always, by the almighty SportsLine, the best value in all sports betting, and it's not close. As you can see, I've made it back to the friendly confines, no longer on the road, and thank goodness, because tonight's a big-time Monday night football game out of the AFC West. The Raiders going into Arrowhead Stadium to take on the Chiefs, 7-point spread, and the total's been right around 51 and a half. So we've got a lot to get to. Let's bring in the stars of the show. Because you know what, on Monday night, I've got three of my absolute very best. Let's start live from Nashville, Tennessee, the penthouse of M Square. Good evening, sir.
Coach, good evening. Proppy, Sia, good to see you guys. You know I'm fired up. It's a primetime game with the Kansas City Chiefs. It doesn't get any better than this for me. Let's go.
You're damn right, and he's so fired up tonight. He's got not one, but two donkey parlays we're going to give out at the top of the hour. If you're a SportsLine member, you can already get them. You can already play them for one very, very low price. Now, we've got some business to handle on this show as well. So up next, he is the best-looking man in all of the Early Edge universe. Oh, and we love when he's on the Early Edge with us. Good evening, Sia Najah.
If you think you're excited about this game, I'm going to be on for a primetime game very soon for the Washington Commanders against the Chicago Bears. And that should really be exciting absolutely everybody. So this is really just the appetizer for that, if you want to know the truth. But I do have a little piece of business to announce, Coach. My prop did hit. It barely hit, but it did hit last night. Lamar Jackson got over that 57.5 rushing yard total. And we have a winner, therefore, right? Because I said I would give out $100 to one of the people in the chat, and that person is none other than Dylan Wolf.
Oh, Dylan, let's go. I like it. Now, Lamar Jackson had 58 yards rushing last night. Ooh. So, Dylan, that's how close you came to not winning cool, cold, hard cash. But we are men of our words. So, Sia gives out $100. And let's go to Hearts Unknown. He is such an important part of what we do. Alex, Prop Stars, good evening, sir.
Coach, what's good? Mikey, Cousin Sia, great to see you guys. I'm fired up. I love this matchup. I didn't give out a prop last night, but I gave out a lean and the lean cash. Mark Andrews over 5.5 receptions. I am giving out $100 to none other than Lori Moore. Hopefully, Lori's watching. Congratulations, Maury. You're $100 richer. Furthermore, I may have some more money to give out tonight, Coach.
Wow, look at you, Daddy Warbucks. Clearly hitting a bunch of props in his private life, as am I. Because I have not just one to give out tonight. Oh, no. I hit my Lamar temps number last night, but I also hit Tom Kim plus 2,800 to win the Shriners in Las Vegas. That felt good. So I'm going to give out two. My first one goes to Sheena Lawrick. My second one, Mike Armstrong. We've got your Venmos. We'll send them out tonight. You'll find your money in your account no later than midnight Eastern time. Congratulations. Thanks for watching. But we got to get to the game now, guys. We've got a lot to talk about. We got best bets. We've got leans. We've got props. We've got BJMs. We've got a ton. You cannot get any better than what we have tonight in Kansas City. So, Mike, me and you, diehard Chiefs fans. So with all due respect to Alex and Sia, we're going first. What do you like tonight, Big Four?
There's a lot that I like in this game tonight. I've got several same-game parlays up on SportsLine if you guys want to check those out there. But as far – are we giving my best bet of the game right now? Okay. Yep. Mm-hmm. So I'm on Davante Adams. I love Davante Adams tonight in this matchup. Over 75.5 receiving yards. The number has definitely moved a little bit at this point. Not a lot in some spots. Some spots it's definitely moved a lot. But good news is simulation number on this for me, 87.5. Love this spot for Davante Adams. The Chiefs bring a ton of yards to number one wide receivers. I expect more of the same tonight in this matchup. Love Davante Adams. I'm going to let other people talk about him a lot. We'll talk about him for half of the show probably. So we'll move on to the Chiefs. I like the Chiefs -7. I make the number 9. Look, I like them in this spot. It's always concerning when the number hasn't moved a ton off of this number throughout the week. But I think they're the superior team. I think it'll be a late score that ultimately gets the cover for them. But I've also got them as a second teaser leg with the Bucks that I had -2.5. So I need a 2-point victory or more from the Chiefs to cash that one. Those are the 3 plays I'm on.
I absolutely love those plays. And by the way, if you want to get good teasers every single week, I encourage you to watch our weekly mega preview every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, Alex, there is nothing that makes our early edge universe feel better than having not one genius on a play, but two geniuses on a play. You're up.
Yeah, I've got two props. I gave them out on two appearances I made earlier this morning and afternoon on the early edge and the early edge in 5. First up, we're going Devontae Adams on the same play as Mikey. Love seeing that. Over 75.5 receiving yards. Adams averaging 11.75 targets, 73 yards, 6.75 receptions per game, 98% route participation. He's on the field for every single Derek Carr dropback. Yards per route run is now up to 1.75. It was down on the 1.3s, high 3s prior to last week. This Kansas City defense, 29th in DVOA to opposing number 1 wide receivers, 21st in passing DVOA compared to 5th in rushing DVOA, so certainly more vulnerable through the air than on the ground. Saw Mike Evans go 8 for 103, Michael Pittman 8 for 72, Mike Williams 8 for 113 over the last 3 weeks. And I just think this is a good spot for Derek Carr to air the ball out a lot. I love that we've got a big total tonight as well. Could be a really advantageous game script. Then next up, we're going under Clyde Edwards-Helaire, under 12.5 rushing attempts. I'm not sure if this number is available anymore anywhere. I would hold off at 11.5. At 11.5, I would still play 12.5 if you have it. Edwards-Helaire is averaging 10.25 rushing attempts per game. Been held under in 3 or 4 games this season, 18 and 27 of his career games. Raiders have also been solid on the ground. They've only surrendered 341 rushing yards to opposing running backs this season. Chiefs are mixing in Isaiah Pacheco, Jerick McKinnon if they're trailing. I think also if you look at the various range of outcomes for this game, it's going to take a very specific game script in order for Clyde Edwards-Helaire to have more than 13 carries. So if the Chiefs are up big, I think we'll see a lot of Pacheco in that situation. And if they're trailing, I think we'll see McKinnon. So it needs to be a highly competitive game, in my opinion. And I just think that if you look at all the potential outcomes for this game, there's not a lot where Clyde Edwards-Helaire gets over 13 rushing attempts.
I am so glad you just said what you just said, Alex, because I have people in the chat already as they see our best bets up on the screen there. Coach, why are you sour on Jerick McKinnon? But am I really? Am I really? So here is what his line has looked like through the first 4 games of the year. Jerick McKinnon, I'm talking about. First game, 3 catches, 27 yards. Not bad. Second game, 2 catches, 4 yards. Third game, 0 catches, 0 yards. Fourth game, 1 catch, 1 yard. They just don't use them when they're ahead, and tonight they're going to be ahead the entire game. So I was looking for something that we could sweat the entire game, for all of us to sweat. And you can't get any lower than this, can you? Can you get lower than 1.5? Can you get lower than 9.5 receiving yards? As Mikey likes to say, I can see that happening in 1 catch, but not tonight. He's not going to get any 1 catch, and I'm going to love this sweat-free at the end of the night. Those are my 2 best bets for the game. Now, see ya. Before we bring that big old fat smile on to give his best bets, you have a play that's not official, but you like. Would you care to enlighten the people?
No, I'm happy to make it official as well, Coach. And for the record, you on an under, nonetheless, 2 unders, just shows us how much you actually like that bet. So that's good to know.
Yes.
Okay, so my play here is a different one. Normally I'm on props. Sometimes I'll give you a side or a total. This one is over 2.5 touchdowns for the Raiders as a team at plus money, at plus 110. A few reasons for this. And I do want to point out that if you wanted to take Derek Carr's over passing touchdowns mark of 1.5, I like that too. The problem is it's minus 145. So I would just prefer to just go that extra touchdown for the team total and take it at plus money. This is one of those games where Kansas City is going to score on the Raiders, period, end of story. And the Raiders are not going to be able to be conservative on 4th down. They're not going to be able to line up for field goals when they know that Kansas City is getting the ball back and probably going to score. So it's one of those situations where I think especially in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th quarter, the Raiders are going to be forced to go for it on 4th down, to play like they have to score a touchdown on many of these possessions, whereas against other opponents, they may not feel that way. Oh, and by the way, they're full strength now. At least at the skill position, they're full strength. They get Hunter Renfrow back. Mac Hollins has emerged. Darren Waller likely has a pretty decent game. And then, of course, we have Davante Adams, who everybody on this panel likes quite a bit. Add to that the Kansas City defense, they're okay, but the red zone defense isn't very good. They're actually one of the worst red zone defenses, or certainly in the bottom third red zone defenses in the league. So when the Raiders actually get down to the red zone, I expect them to convert more often than not. So give me the Raiders as a team at plus money over 2.5 touchdowns.
All right, very, very good. Apparently, I'm having some issues with my audio, according to the thing. So, AB, I want you to come on because I'm going to switch out real quick. I'm going to have you host for the next couple of minutes. Take me off, give your best bets, bring me back in, and I'll go back to the normal setup because apparently this isn't working very good. Correct?
Yeah.
Is it Blair?
No problem.
All right,
Yep.
take me off. I'll be right back.
Yep. All right. Now you're all in massive, massive trouble here. All right. No, I'm kidding. All right. So, look, we're going to go. I've got a couple plays here. Let me pull this on the screen so you can see. All right. First, we're going to go Raiders team total over 21.5. I do not like the hook here. However, I think that the Raiders are actually going to have a better game than people might think. I know that last year the Chiefs just dominated Las Vegas. That being said, I do think that the Raiders have a bit better of a game, which goes with Sia's plays, which go with Mike and props plays. 2, even though they're going to have a better game, Derek Carr is putting one in the air. He's thrown an interception in 7 straight games against the Kansas City Chiefs. I think that it becomes 8 tonight. That being said, we're also going to go Derek Carr, longest completion, over 36.5 yards. And I'll tell you why. In a regular game script, I feel comfortable with Derek Carr hitting this number. In a game script that we all kind of think is going to happen, where the Chiefs are playing from ahead, Derek Carr is going to have to throw it over and over and over. And especially if it gets bad in the second half, he's throwing it deep multiple times, probably to Davante Adams. So, those are my 3. All right, while Coach is going through here, a couple things we have to do really quickly. Everyone, hit the like button. We have almost 1,100 people watching live, which is phenomenal. Thank you very much. But we have to get to 500 likes. M Squared has 2 donkey parlays tonight. Props has 1 goose parlay for you tonight. Also, let's just talk game scripts, man. See, I'm going to start with you. Like, what do you think? Like, you don't have to give me like a projected score or anything like that, but I mean, just top of your head, we're sitting at a bar having some drinks. Like, how's this game going to go, man?
So, we always kind of think we know how the game is going to go. And I think the conventional wisdom, it's just going to be a back and forth through the air. I do think that the Raiders are going to try to establish Josh Jacobs to the extent that that's even possible. If they get the ball first, or especially in the first quarter, if they're not down, if it's a fairly neutral game script, even though Kansas City has been good against the run and against really good running opponents. I mean, they have faced some really good run offenses. I still think the way the Raiders have been utilizing Josh Jacobs and really overutilizing Josh Jacobs in terms of his touches, I do think we could see the Raiders establish the run a little bit. With that said, at a certain point, Kansas City is really going to be able to put points on the board against this Raiders secondary in particular. And it's going to force Derek Carr's hand. It's going to force Josh McDaniels' hand. So I do think this is going to be a back and forth with just a lot of passing, a lot of scoring. We've been wrong before on that, right? We see totals of 51, 52, and then all of a sudden, it's the second quarter and it's 7-3, and it looks like the teams are plodding along. But in this one, I just don't think that it's going to be a tight game early. In other words, I think the Chiefs are going to put it on them early a little bit. The Raiders might match them, but at the end of the day, if the Raiders are actually going to win this game, you would think maybe establishing the run would keep the offense off the field for Kansas City, but at the end of the day, I do think this becomes a passing game. But if I'm Josh McDaniels, I want to keep that offense off the field. I want to try to establish Josh.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. And, Mike, I'm going to throw the same question to you. Like, just, break down any angles, anything that you see. And what do we do with both of these teams in regards to their rush defenses? Because they're actually pretty good on both sides. So, yeah, Mike, I'll throw it to you, man. Floor is yours, buddy.
Yeah, both teams are going to be easier to attack through the air, especially true on the Kansas City side. I expect a ton of passing volume from Derek Carr. A lot of that is also typically just going to come through natural game script, as we do expect them to be trailing at some point in this game. I expect a huge day from Davante Adams. Obviously, I'm on his prop. Proppy's on the prop as well. They've really been crushed by some of the alpha wide receivers. That is definitely the category that Davante Adams fits in at this point. So as far as game overall, I think it's mostly efficient on the total. If I had to lean one way or another, I still kind of lean towards the under in the game, but it's so slight. It's not anything close to being playable for me personally. I think the game should be at 50, not 51, not 51 and a half. I'm pretty confident we see 46 points plus in this game. What I think we see plenty of ball movement between the 20s. On the Raiders side, I do expect some field goals from Daniel Carlson. I like him quite a bit tonight. He's going to have to kick field goals for them to remain competitive in this game still, in my opinion. And then on Kansas City side, I expect a lot of dinking down the field, which does eat up quite a bit of clock. And a lot of that will be intentional if they have a lead in this game. I expect a relatively competitive game. The market tells you the game is going to be maybe a little more competitive than you think, just from the simple fact that this thing did not move to 8 all week. Consensus play is Kansas City -7. Pretty much sat there. I think you could still get 7s to this point now, not even 7.5s, which is fascinating from that standpoint. So I think it's a competitive division game. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs since 2020 have a pretty strong track record of winning these games but not covering them. I believe he's 7-17 against the spread in games where he's more than a field goal favorite in this type of situation since 2020. So definitely winning football games, not covering. Derek Carr's done the exact opposite. He's definitely covered a ton of football games in this spot. That's simply what they're able to do. I think we probably see a similar result. I personally think it's a 10-point win for Kansas City. Would not shock me at all if they win by 4.
Yeah, I feel you on there. And it's still, it's a divisional game, and it's a primetime game. I think primetime games are 11-4 to the under this year, and not that those mean anything to this game. It's like a coin flip. Each flip is, independent of the others. But that being said, divisional games generally are a little bit tighter. Props, I throw it to you, man. Like, kind of your thoughts there, your thoughts on the quarterbacks, right? Like, as you look at the props across, right, it all begins and ends with both quarterbacks. Like, how do you think Patrick Mahomes is going to look tonight? Derek Carr, in regards to, the props and the numbers and all that, how it plays into it. What are your thoughts there, man? And I'll say this, the reason I brought it up was the question, as we bring Coach back into it, the question was, Derek Carr, I can't find it. I think it was, 38.5 pass attempts? Just your thought on both quarterbacks in general, props. Hey, Coach, you got it?
Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
You're
good,
okay.
buddy.
We're good to go. All right, Alex, go ahead, bud.
Yeah, so I think Sia brought up an excellent point regarding this Raiders team and kind of their identity over the first 4 weeks of the season. In week 1 versus the Chargers, they had a 7% pass rate over expected, which means they were heavily weighted towards the pass versus the Chargers. We see this number dip down every single game. So early in the season, the Raiders were throwing the ball a lot on first down. Didn't get great results, obviously, going 0-3 to start the season. Then in week 4 versus the Broncos, they end up winning the game, but they had a -3 pass rate over expected. So they actually ran the ball quite a bit and had good results doing that against the Broncos. We saw Josh Jacobs get 28 carries, have 144 yards, pretty much a career day for him. I think that's going to be hard to replicate. I also think that Kansas City is obviously talented enough where they can push Las Vegas to have to throw the ball a lot to keep up with them. That's something that, Denver didn't really do. Obviously, Russell Wilson struggling as much as he has, facing a Kansas City team that I think, is a lot better offensively. They're going to push the Raiders, but I think there is a range of outcomes, or there is a world where this team is going to want to establish the run. And if they can keep Patrick Mahomes off the field, they're going to try and do that. I don't think they'll be successful doing that, but I think that's ultimately what they'll try to do early in the game. And then if Kansas City is able to, go up and down the field and score effortlessly, then I think we'll see Derek Carr revert to what Derek Carr does, air the ball out quite a bit. I think his attempts is at 38.5. I think that's fairly efficient. One quarterback prop that I like quite a bit, I spoke with Mikey about it earlier, is I like Patrick Mahomes under 26.5 completions. 27 completions is a gigantic number, especially if the Chiefs are going to be favored playing with a lead. The only really way I see Mahomes having more than 27 attempts is if the Raiders get up big in this game and just force the Chiefs to abandon the run. So as far as quarterback props, I really like under 26.5 completions for Patrick Mahomes.
Under 26 and now. I'm trying to find it right now as you said it because you know it's always going to change. See, if the game script is what Alex just described it as and at what Mikey said it is, sometimes we love to blindly bet the Travis Kelce's of the world. We like to blindly bet the Devontae Adams of the world. But against the Chiefs defense, the big wide receiver always gets his numbers. Always. But on the other side, what do you make of tonight? If the game has shrunk a little bit of those Kelce numbers and the ones that we always like to play with the Chiefs.
Yeah, I mean, as I look at the Travis Kelce number, 75.5, I think that's an efficient number as well. I think where some of the opportunity might be would be with some of these second-tier receivers. I'm not 100% sure, and maybe Mike knows better than this, being the Kansas City, and Coach, you as well, being the Kansas City fans, but I don't know if Juju Smith-Schuster is fully healthy. I know he's active. I know he's going to suit up, but I just wonder if there's an opportunity for some of these guys like Marcus Valdez-Scantling. I'll look right past McCole Hardman, but maybe like even a Sky Moore of 20.5 receiving yards, Marcus Valdez-Scantling at 42.5. It does seem high for MVS, but I think that's where I'd be looking. I mean, listen, usually with these primary receiving targets, like on these primetime games, you might have just said this, Coach, they usually just end up hitting, but I'm just not interested in taking that number, 75.5. I would be looking to Sky Moore and to MVS personally.
Mikey, your thoughts?
Yeah, I like MVS a lot, mostly because he's play in most game scripts, because in most game scripts they're still going to take shots to him down the field. In the game script where the Chiefs are trailing and behind, he's able to play with a significant pace of play, and he's someone that's going to be out there on the field running all those routes, participating in snaps. So I do like him the most behind Travis Kelce. I do still like Travis Kelce in this spot. Again, I think what we see out of the Raiders here in this spot is I think that they still kind of let Kansas City dink the football down the field, and Kelce ultimately gets there through volume. But I don't think it's a scenario where, I'm not going to go play Travis Kelce at his full numbers. I like the alt numbers a lot because I think it's very consistently going to be in the low 60s. When you get the real numbers up here at 75, 80, it becomes pretty fragile because there is still a difference, a pretty significant difference in those numbers. So I'm not taking Kelce over his 75.5 lines or even above that. Yes, he can get there. No interest in taking unders on it personally. But as far as the running backs, so as far as the other receivers, MVS is my priority.
Okay. Do you think he can get to his 41? Right now it's 41.5, but it's juiced to minus 140, at least on some books.
Yeah,
he can. I would not play it over unless you think the game is going to be pretty competitive, though.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. By the way, Joe in the chat says, I need more picks. I have buckets of money to blow from earlier today. One of the biggest numbers that we've ever seen in soccer, and buckets nailed it. I mean, nailed it. I played it big. And Joe, just take that money and be happy with it. You don't got to blow it tonight. Come on, kid. You don't got to blow it tonight unless you want to throw a little bit on 2 donkeys and a goose. By the way, we have a huge audience watching right now, and we have got to 500 likes. So that's the donkey. I need 550 if you want to see the goose. I need 600 if you want to see the VJM. And we are approaching the top of the hour, so you have 2 minutes. For those of you that have not hit the like button, take the chat down, hit the like, put it right back up. 500, 550, 600, and we get everything today. Now, let's go to the Raiders side of things because we have 2 minutes left before we get to the top of the hour. We've talked about Devontae Adams, but gentlemen, Alex, I'm going to come to you. There are other names. Darren Waller 2 years ago, everybody thought he was the best tight end in football. He has fallen off, but he's still a weapon. His number is at 50.5, 4.5 tonight. Are there any Raiders weapons outside of Devontae that we're keeping our eye on tonight?
Yeah, this is actually a good spot for Darren Waller, in my opinion. Fabian Moreau, the backup tight end to Waller, had been playing quite a bit over the first 4 weeks of the season. I think he had actually outsnapped Waller in at least one game, possibly 2 games. He's going to be inactive tonight, so Waller's likely to play the most he's played all season in this matchup. So the fact that he's just going to be on the field, probably have a really high route participation, and that was something you could always bank on with Waller. Like over the past 3 years, he ran more routes than any tight end in the NFL. They paid him a big contract, and then inexplicably, Fabian Moreau, his backup, was playing more snaps than him over the first 4 weeks of the season. So, yeah, I think this is a good spot to kind of get a discount, although we're not really seeing a discount because I think the books are aware that Moreau is going to be inactive tonight, which should give a big boost of playing time to Waller. But as far as secondary options for this Las Vegas team, I do think there is some value with Waller.
All right, very, very good. We are well over 600 likes. Thank you very much for doing your part. As always, I will do mine. Now, before we get to the donkey, Mikey, they want another play? Let's give them another play. Let's look at that first quarter number real quick. And it is over 10, Kansas City -3, juice to actually even money at +100. Do we like anything in that first quarter, Mikey?
If I had to play anything, it would be the first quarter under 10.5. That would be where I would lean. I think that we see a touchdown drive from Kansas City, but ultimately I think it eats 6 to 7 minutes off the clock, and Raiders drive would be a win for the Raiders would be a 35 to 50-yard field goal from Daniel Carlson. So if you're getting 10.5, I would lean towards the under pretty heavily there.
All right, Joe, there you got it. If you want to play another one, play the first quarter. Heck, you know what? I'll play it with you. Joe. Let's play it together right here, right now. And if I hit this, I'll give away another $100 live tomorrow on the show. Now, Alex, real quick, you had some money you wanted to give away tonight, correct? You got 3 plays tonight?
I did. So I have two. I have 2 props and a goose parlay. So I wanted to give away. If I hit both props and the goose parlay, however unlikely that it is, I will give out $300 total, $100 each to 3 different people, and then for every prop I hit, I will give out $100 each. So say we hit both props and the parlay, I'll do $500 total, and then for each prop, $100 each.
You're working for free. A man of the people.
A man of the people, Coach.
All right, it's after the top of the hour. The people want it. The people are going to get it. We've got a lot to get to over the course of the next 10 minutes, so let's get to it. Mikey, give me my first donkey. Let's go.
All right. We're going to go 2 nuggets first, though, on this donkey. Okay. Well, we'll just hit the donkey. First donkey, this is a mega donk. I love this one a lot. It's on Twitter today. It's all out there. Kansas City Chiefs, money line. Raiders, +17.5, alternate spread. Chiefs, team total over 6.5 in the first half of the game. Devontae Adams, over 64.5. And Travis Kelce over 59.5 +350 on this one.
All right. Very, very good. So let it sit there for a second. +350. Get them all down. Get them in. You still got plenty of time. All right. Now, when I tell my guys I need a little bit extra for our prime times, they deliver. Mikey, let's go to a second donkey. And by the way, if you're a SportsLine member, you could have got these hours ago. That's how important it is. But you get them now, and it's still okay. Mikey, next one.
Yes, and the first one, if you follow me on Twitter, you can retweet and be entered to win if I win. Second one here, 10 legs, maxed it out, 100% boost on DraftKings. We're going Chiefs money line. Raiders +17.5. Derek Carr over 229.5 passing yards. Mahomes over 249.5 passing yards. Jacobs under 84.5 rushing yards. Clyde Edwards-Helaire under 74.5 rushing yards. Devontae Adams over 64.5. Travis Kelce over 59.5. Over 41.5 total points in the game. And then finally, Clyde Edwards-Helaire over 14.5 receiving yards. With the boost, pays out +2,000 on this one. Very, very similar to the other one, just kind of expanding upon it.
Mikey, I feel like you got a little offended that last night Alex gave out one that paid more than yours. I feel like today you wanted to flex your muscles a little bit. That's what I feel like. I like it. Now, we got to get to the goose. If you don't know what the goose is, it's very similar to the donkey, just with Alex. And they do not talk to each other. Alex, you're up.
Yeah, we're going with the goose parlay. Waiting for it to come on the screen. There it is. First up, over 20.5 points from the Chiefs, over 17 points from the Las Vegas Raiders, over 230 passing yards from Derek Carr, under 75 rushing yards from Clyde Edwards-Helaire, under 85 rushing yards from Josh Jacobs, over 35 receiving yards from Juju Smith-Schuster, and over 75 receiving yards from Devontae Adams.
Well, leave it up there for a second. You guys are so smart in the chat. You're putting in your Venmo. You're putting in your Twitter handles. That's the only way that you're eligible. If you're brand new, clearly we have a lot of new viewers tonight. We have such a high live number. I need you to put your Venmo into the chat. That's how you become eligible to win all of this cold hard cash from my guys. All right, now, so we got 3 parlays, but we've got the most fun thing that we do here at the show, the VJM. If you want to play along, put who you think will score the first touchdown of the game into the chat. You can get into the club with the rest of us. Who knows? Maybe you'll be eligible to win money just from the club. You never know. We're always thinking. But to be eligible, put in who you think is going to be. Got to be plus 1,000 or higher. Mikey named it. He always goes first. M Squared, give it to me.
All right, we're going my favorite strategy here, backup tight ends. Noah Gray, plus 3,300. I think the Chiefs score first in this game. Look, he's running around on 34% of dropbacks this season. That's pretty significant. He's going to be out there on the field at times. They like to get creative, even more so in primetime. Give me Noah Gray, plus 3,300.
And this man has earned the right to go second. I hate it, but I would have to hit it 3 times before I'm allowed to go before him, which sucks. That could never happen. But see ya, you're up.
Well, my first time is going to be tonight because at plus 1,100, my guy is going to be Josh Jacobs. Listen, I know it's a little contrarian to take the Raiders, the dog, to score the first touchdown. But again, back to what I said at the beginning of the show, I do think the Raiders are going to try to establish Josh Jacobs, perhaps successfully. But by the way, he's involved in the passing game quite a bit. He's on the field pretty much all the time. He ran around on approximately 60% of Derek Carr's dropbacks over the last 2 games, caught about 5 balls in each of those. So I think Josh is fit to be the first touchdown scorer, with everybody paying attention to Darren Waller, to Devontae Adams, to Hunter Renfrow, who was unguardable in the red zone, by the way, to Matt Collins. Who do you leave out? You leave out Josh Jacobs, and he just waltzes in the end zone.
You know, I didn't question your number, Sia. Mikey, I didn't question your number either. However, when I see a name up there where he's a minus 130 to score anytime touchdown, and then somehow on the first touchdown of the game, he's plus 1,000, are we throwing a red flag on this, gentlemen? Are we throwing a red flag on this?
Listen. Before you decide, well, actually, go ahead.
Raise your hand if you think this is a BS number. Oh, they're on your side, Alex. They're on your side.
Well, listen, Coach, they know me. I bring receipts with everything, Coach. So if you're gonna call a BS number, we would have to lock in at least like a $500 bet.
There was no way in hell I'm doing that with you. And then right here, that would be the dumbest bet ever. Not the dumbest I've ever made, but the dumbest bet ever. All right, you're up, big boy. You're up.
All right, we're going Devontae Adams plus 1,000, as chalk as it gets. I need to get into the club. Larry's getting lonely in there. He's been texting me. He's like, come on, man. I've opened up this bottle of Manischewitz. Come and drink with me. I'm like, okay, I'm on my way. I'm going. He's like, get in any way possible. I saw Devontae Adams at plus 1,000. Mikey and I love him tonight. Easiest way to get in the club is through Devontae Adams. That's why we're going with him.
I still can't even believe it. All right, I'm going to go with Isaiah Pacheco. Now, he's somebody they're using a lot more. He's plus 1,450, so it's not chalk, but it's not Noah Gray either. So it's right in the sweet spot. And I just think that Patrick Mahomes has now started to like him as a weapon. And I think that at this number, I really, really like it. All right, Jake the Snake is on Darren Waller. Again, very chalky, plus 1,000, but believable. AB, show your face. Explain yourself.
Yeah, so we're going Patrick Mahomes. Look, everybody knows how this is going to go down, and I want you all to see my face directly of what is about to happen. Patrick Mahomes, I lost the button there for a second. The Chiefs are going to take the ball. They're going to throw it to Travis Kelce, where he rumbles for about 81 yards down the field to the 1. Red zone's going to get a little tight. Divisional game. Mahomes right there. Just a little end around. Whatever he needs to do. Left side, right side. It doesn't matter.
That will drive me.
Yeah, plus 2,000.
That will drive me insane. That will drive me insane if that hits. It will. No, actually, it won't. I wouldn't mind seeing you. You could teach the maestro a few things in the club there.
Which, by the way, let me just say this, and I'll leave. I'll get my fat face back here behind the camera. Maestro might be the only one that doesn't drink out of everybody, and he's been in the club like he's almost lost. Like we're gonna have to put him on a milk carton because people are looking for him at this point. So.
Oh man,
I hear they're all out of Perrier.
Yeah. And he's asked for it 3 times. All right, so here's what we're going to do because the game starts in 5 minutes. We've given you everything we could possibly give you. So I want to throw our best bets back up on the screen, and we will say our goodbyes while you're looking at it. One last chance to get a bet in. You don't have to bet everything, okay? You don't have to bet everything. We like to end every single show asking my guys, what's the one thing that they're most looking forward to. Maybe you can look forward to it too, learn, and use it in the future. That's the whole point. Mikey, start us off.
I'm looking forward to a competitive football game, cashing the donkey parlay for sure, and a big night from Devontae Adams. Quickly on him, he can become the 5th player all time with 5 receptions tonight to have 700 receptions and 75 touchdowns in the first 9 seasons. Other players, Larry Fitzgerald, Marvin Harrison, Calvin Johnson, and Jerry Rice.
Wow.
And then also he can be the first player ever with 100+ yards in 6 consecutive primetime games, should he eclipse that number tonight. And then the final nugget, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, tonight is his birthday.
Oh, all right. I'm gonna play him, and I'm gonna play Adams. All right, Alex, you're up, big boy.
Yeah, I love Devontae Adams as well, going over 75.5 receiving yards. Then we're taking Clyde Edwards-Helaire under 12.5 rushing attempts. I'm just hoping this is the type of game environment where we can hit all these parlays. I feel like if the Chiefs are able to push the Raiders and force them from running the football to airing the ball out, I think we can hit the donkeys and we can hit the goose and we can owe a lot of SportsLine subscribers money tomorrow morning, Coach.
Dan, there's nothing we like doing more than giving out money. We love it here at the Early Edge. See ya. Bring us home.
I can't believe I missed the Marquez Valdez-Scantling birthday narrative. That is huge. Everybody should add a first touchdown bet on MVS. So I'm just curious to see what the Raiders look like, because I think we have our impressions of what these teams are, but those impressions are predicated on just 4 weeks. What did we think the Jacksonville Jaguars were 2 weeks ago? The New York Giants 2 weeks ago? The Green Bay Packers 2 weeks ago? So I think there's still a chance, and this is maybe the last chance to really get back in the race for the Raiders. I think there's still a chance that this is actually a good team. They're at full strength on offense. I think this really could be way more competitive than people think. I kind of hope it is, because I want the Raiders to be very relevant.
I do not. Because full transparency, this is my biggest bet of the year. I bought it down. I did everything Mikey tells you not to do. So, Mikey, don't scold me. I bought it down to 6.5. I had to. But it's a big bet. So.
I put $2,500 on a donkey parlay, so don't listen to my advice on what not to do tonight.
And that is a great time to drop the mic. All right, now, what a fun time this is. And so many of you. This is the highest watched show of the year, thanks to you. Now, 2 more minutes, we're going to watch one of the best Monday night games of the year, and we couldn't be more excited. There's only one thing left to do. Thanks to all of you for taking the time out of your busy schedule, and I believe you all know what that is. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these tickets straight to the pay window. For my entire crew, love them all. Cena John, M Squared, Prop Stars, AB on the 1s and the 2s. I am the coach. We're here every single day and every single night that there is an NFL primetime game. Why do we do it? Well, we love it, but we do it for you at the Early Edge. Good luck.